Munib, how did you make your first million and how did you lose it?
In your 20s, if you're doing anything other than work, just remember that you're wasting your time. I'm willing to go as far as the wheels come off. Meaning if you go bankrupt, you go bankrupt. But at least we have a shot at another day.
You want to get lucky, do network. Because get lucky equal opportunity. You need to sniff around. Be in more fucking rooms.
I went the whole run through. I was 25 and I spent $100,000 in one day out of the million. I was stupid. When you're young, you make these stupid mistakes. My father said to me when he was kicking me out of the house, 3 things he said. He said,
Munib,
yeah.
How did you make your first million and how did you lose it?
Well, when you say $1 million, are you talking about million,
Net worth.
million net in the bank account?
Net
Or
worth.
million before tax?
Net worth.
Net worth? I was in the HVAC business. And I would say I got lucky. A lot of it was luck. In Ontario, there used to be a program years ago that started. I'll go a little bit back to the story and I'll tell you how I got into it. There's a kid in my high school that got kicked out of high school for stealing dumbbells. Okay? But it's the first time I'm telling the story. Only the people in the circle know the stories, but first time publicly telling you the story. His name was Rami, and he got kicked out of high school for stealing dumbbells and disappeared. Egyptian kid. And my first business that I was involved in was a security business. So I was basically early on in Ontario when the security guard course first came out in 2008-9. I was one of their teachers. I was teaching a security guard course. Then I would hire these guys and put them in nightclubs, hotel security, condo security, and whatnot. Hectic business, dumb business. You're billing for 90 days, and you're collecting your money 90 days later. But by the time you collect, there's 90 days worth of expenses you got to front. So you're never actually tasting the money. You're never tasting the meat. So imagine you're just fronting whatnot. So I used to pray to God every night. I used to have this Hummer H2 driving around, and I used to literally have tears coming down my eyes. Like, Ya Allah, get me out of this somehow. Right? Because I don't like it. Because sometimes you can get stuck into some business or some sticky situation, and to getting out of it is like a headache, right? Whether it's business, whether it's relationship. Sometimes you could be in a toxic relationship and you're just stuck in it, or anything. And so essentially, one day while I was working a security shift in one of the nightclubs, Rami popped up. So I'm seeing him after 4 years later. And he comes to the club all balled out, Burberry, Versace, and this is back in 2011, 12. So these brands still had value. Now it doesn't mean anything, right? And he's got like Ferragamo shoes on, smelled like $1 million, looks different. You know when you're rich, you look different. He's got his eyebrows all done. I'm like, yo, Rami, where the hell did you go? Like you were gone from high school, you stole dumbbells. He's like, bro, come meet me tomorrow. And I'm in this business. I'm in the HVAC business. I'm working with this guy called Eugene, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I got very interested. This guy spent $40,000 that night in the club. This is back in 2011-12. So I'm like, yo, who is this kid that got kicked out of school? Either he's selling drugs or something illegal. That's what I thought. So I come to his office.
You still went to see him.
Yeah. I went to see him because I'm curious. So I go to his office. He has this 11th floor office in downtown Kitchener. And it's like, oh, we're in this HVAC business. And I knew some of the guys that were in door-to-door business before. This is a door-to-door sales, by the way. Selling HVAC furnaces door-to-door. I know some of the guys that built Reliance and built Just Energy, like that company I used to be around. And I was like, okay, so now it's turning into HVAC. But I didn't like his principles or what he stood for. So I didn't start working with him. But that's when I was like, okay, you know, I really like this business, but I don't want to work with him specifically because I'm always a guy of morals. So I didn't like the way they were doing it. And then a year or two went by, and this other Ukrainian guy reached out to me called Mark. He was like a father figure to me at a certain point in my life. He's like, listen, we heard about you. We thought that you wanted to get into this business, but for some reason you didn't. But I want to give you a chance. I believe in you, whatever. I'm like, okay, let's go all in. And so I start this business with him, come into HVAC, not knowing much about HVAC. But I knew that if Rami can do it, if a kid who got kicked out of high school can do it, I can do it, right? So I got involved. We started this company. I was one of the shareholders. And it was 3 partners. And we had a different plan. We're going to do Canada-wide. So we're going to go all over. We're going to go Ontario. These guys were just focused on Ontario. So all over Ontario, they would do road trips in Ottawa, all over the place. I said, we're going to go all over Canada. We're going to be the first ones that go to Alberta, Quebec, which before wasn't possible. It was considered like this can't happen. Like anything, something can happen, then it happens, and everybody comes. But I also knew I was coming in this business late. And I knew that the barriers to entry are very easy, and too many people too many wrong people will come in this. And exactly happened. However, the government was giving a lot of rebates. So when I'm talking about luck, the luck factor is it was a very juicy opportunity because it made sense. The government's giving you as a customer $3,000 to take a furnace AC as long as it's an upgraded high efficiency unit. So it's not your old black pipes. So now in Ontario, you don't see them, but back in 2012, 13, I mean, you came to Canada later, but they used to be black pipe HVACs, which apparently were bad for the environment. So Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government said, listen, we want to get rid of this, and this is not good for the environment. So we're going to give you guys $3,000 to change. So the deal made sense to everybody. And then there was lucrative rental options that $80 a month will get you this unit. And you're saving roughly $50 to $60 on your bill anyway. So out of pocket is $20, but you're getting $3,000 from the government right away. So it's like a no-brainer. So we're selling hundreds of units, hundreds. And then I took it to Alberta, took it to Quebec. And I made the money. However, when you're young and you make your first $1 million, you know, you don't know what to do with it, and you're stupid. You don't even know that Uncle Sam's coming. There's taxes coming. There's all sorts of shits you're going to get hit with, whether it's payroll tax, HST, GST, health tax. You don't know none of this. Right? No one prepares you for this. You just make $1 million. And I mean, I'll say this on first time I ran a podcast. I never said this before. Some of my friends know about this. I went the whole run through. I was 25, I think, when I did it. And I spent $100,000 in one day out of the $1 million. I was stupid. Like this Fendi belt was bought that day too. I have a bunch of Gucci belts. I never bought any belts since that day. I was like, I only used to wear Calvin Klein belts. So I was like, now I need every belt. So I bought every single designer belt that exists, Gucci, Hermes, all in one day. I never shopped any other day after that for any belt or anything. Bought a bunch of these luxury shoes, you know, Ferragamo, Louis V, Gucci, all this. Bought this Louis V luggage I have. She's seen it. You've seen it, eh? You've seen that one at my house. The Gucci, I bought this. I went to the Gucci store. I'm like, give me the most expensive luggage you have. They brought this like $10,000 luggage set. And I felt so weird. I felt so empty. I'm like, what did I just do? So I lost 100,000 out of that. And then I knew taxes are coming. But there's this Jewish mentor of mine that I really looked up to. And a lot of things he said in my life actually became true. Whether it's marriage advice, personal advice, business advice. Like he predicted the economic crisis of 2020 of COVID. In 2015, he was telling me this. He didn't say COVID, but he said something's going to happen in 2020. And I went to him. I'm like, listen, man, I don't know what to do. I just made this money and I'm spending it all and I feel empty. Because maybe I was a wannabe Rami. You could say that. Maybe I wanted to be like him. Like I remember going to a club and spending $40,000 on my friends with my sales reps. Buying them cars. I bought my sales rep Range Rovers and 7 Series and these cars. And when you're young, you make these stupid mistakes, thinking these friends are going to be with you. They're loyal. They're your sales reps. They all leave you. And he told me, don't do this. I'm like, what about a supercar? I want a supercar. I was literally about to sign the deal for the R8 V10 Plus when the R8 was around. He's like, don't buy it. So he's the first guy that told me don't buy these supercars. I'm like, why? He's like, unless you can buy them 10 of them cash, you don't buy one. So that was one of his theories. Like, unless you can buy a car, a depreciating asset 10 times cash, never buy one even. And that's why I never bought a supercar. So I listened to him about that. And then, like I said, I predicted that this business will go down. We were having a good time, and then the government came, got involved, cut all the rebates, funding was done, and then way too many scammers came in the industry, Russian guys, all sorts of ethnicities, started lying to customers that the rebates are still there, taking their money and never getting the rebates. So then the government banned the program completely. So they had to step in and ban the door-to-door HVAC sales. It was such a good program. And then all of a sudden, a lot of the guys in that industry lost their money, don't know what to do with it, ended up on the street, drugs, you name it. And I had to start all over again too. So I went from being a guy that was running 100 sales reps to now, after paying all my taxes, all my penalties, all this BS, my ex-partners, to go being a sales rep in the window business all over again, right? And life humbles you. You realize that you could have money one day and not have it the other day. But how are you as a person, and how much skills you have learned will get you to the next level. Funny enough, on the way to Ottawa right now, like she heard too, on the phone I was with one of the guys from that industry who's on the phone with me. This guy's living in his parents' basement today. He was a guy that had a Lamborghini SVJ, RSQ8, $2.5 million mansion, paid off cash, and now he went through a divorce, lost it all too. And he never got back on his feet because he never learned skills from that business. He essentially was a product of luck again. And I knew being a product of luck that there's luck involved, but I wanted to learn still. So as much as I could say like, yeah, I made $1 million the first time, that was 60% luck and 40% skill.
I have to interrupt you there
No, go
because
ahead.
I don't think it was luck. There was an
just being too honest.
opportunity and you grabbed it.
Correct, but it was too
you didn't,
juicy.
You didn't invent the opportunity.
No.
But there was an opportunity. There's always opportunities like this, by the way, juicy opportunities.
Yeah.
But we have to be positive enough, talk to the right people, shake enough hands to actually be introduced to these opportunities. I've gotten contracts similar before in the last couple of years, and they made me a lot of money. And I did feel like, oh shit, I got lucky. But then I'm like, oh, wait a second. I heard of the opportunity. I called someone, didn't answer me. I called the second, answered, said I can't help you. I called the third. I said, I'm taking you out for a lunch. I'm not taking a no for an answer. Took the guy out for a lunch. I did lots of ass kissing to get the opportunity. So no, it wasn't fucking luck. I actually worked hard. You heard of the program. You took advantage of it and you started working your ass off. That's how you made your money. So it was a combination of an opportunity and actual work. I don't like you using just the word luck and you got lucky. You actually worked hard to get it. You met the first guy, you said no. You met the second guy, you said yes. Yeah. So it's good. We don't want people to think that, yeah, God was more fair to you than to them. No, you're sniffing around always for the next opportunity. And once you see it, you go for it.
I'm always sniffing.
So yeah,
I'm always open.
Exactly.
But it doesn't always come to you.
That's the impact that I want to make on the audience right now, that there's always
100%
juicy opportunities. Just keep your eyes open and we go back to networking, keep on shaking more hands, go to networking events, meet people. The first big contract I signed, I met the guy in the basement of a church. Finished church, we go grab a coffee downstairs and I'm talking to the guy. He's like, you should do this. I'm like, what's this? He's like, that's that. I'm like, it doesn't seem like something I want to do. 6 months later, I called the guy. I'm like, you mentioned something 6 months ago. Can we talk about it? And that's how it worked. So shake more hands and meet more people. I like that. You mentioned that you made your million and lost it twice.
Yeah, I'm gonna
tell
go to
me
the
about
twice
the
one.
second one, and please don't tell me you lost it with a divorce.
No. So I'm going to talk more about a couple things to add in there because you did say I worked. I'll tell you how much I worked because I think the audience should know that. So when I first met that second guy, I come to my family first. I tell my brothers, we're going to be rich. My two younger brothers, because they used to work with me in the security business. I used to always tag them in everything. I'm like, guys, no more security. We're going to be in HVAC. We're going to be rich. We're going to be really successful. I go to them. They're like, yeah, we're on board. I'm like, but it's going to require a lot of work. You're going to knock doors. You're going to have to learn a new skill. You're going to learn how to talk to people. It's not security where you just show up. Now you have to sell shit. That's how I came into sales, right?
Have to use your brain.
Yeah, and you have to work hard. I'm like, there's going to be like 12-hour days in the winter. So I brought them, and then I brought 20 of my best friends too. And I signed a lease for an office in downtown Kitchener for like $4,000 a month, right? Out of my money. Everybody quit within the first 30 days. I was left alone in the office.
Including your brothers.
Including my brothers, right? Crazy thing is they came in the industry later in my second run, but I'll tell you because they saw how much I made. So like this time we're not going to miss out, but they like, yo, this is too hard. Yo, we're going back to security. And they go back to like my ex-business partners in the security business. Like that hurt me too, that you're going back to them, not with me, your brother who got you in this, who paid your tuition, who helped you throughout this shit. It's a hard, when you see deceit like that, you're like, okay, then you get more motivated. You're like, yo, now I have to prove them wrong till the, like, doesn't matter. This is 2013. I used to live in Kitchener. I had this Audi A4. I used to drive from Kitchener to the airport at night, 10 p.m., drive Uber all the way till 8 a.m. in the morning when Uber first came out, pick up airport customers, drive them around, then go back to Kitchener, start my day at 9 a.m. in the office, go knock doors again and do that for like 2 months.
Exactly
right?
what I said. Don't say I got lucky.
I get it. But it was luck. I saw the luck, right? I saw the luck. But because I didn't have cash flow coming in yet, because the way it gets worked, you sell a deal, it takes 2 weeks to get installed, then 2 weeks later you get paid, right? So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do until now to pay my office rent, this, that? And I had this one girl working for me too. She didn't quit on me, which is the crazy part. The black lady, She was a single mother. She's like, I need to pay bills. I believe in your vision. Crazy story. Right? Later, she got pregnant. That's another story, whatever. So she went on mat leave, never came back. But amazing woman. Tanya, she lives somewhere in Kitchener. I don't even have contact with her anymore. And so I work Uber for 2 months. And there's certain people I can tell you, there's certain people that became famous on YouTube that know my brothers and told my brothers, like, you know that your brother drove Uber? They don't even know that. My brothers never knew that. Like what do you mean? It's like, yo, he picked me up from the airport. These are celebrity kids now that used to be YouTubers back then, and now they're like pretty big with 2 million followers. Like, yo, your brother picked us up at the airport, and he was telling us how he's working 12 hours and he's going in the morning to do his HVAC thing. And then 2 months later, it was like I didn't have to do Uber anymore. Cash flow come in, started building, and it built for years. Like from 2013 to 2017, it was just up, right? So again, to explain that, yes, it's luck. It's luck with hard work, right? But yeah, that was my first like real taste of business, and it showed me that you could do something if you believe in it, and if you really see somebody else do it. There's no difference between if you're doing something that I can't do, and if you have that mindset, you can do anything. So then the second million, let's talk about that. That came much later in life. So I'm back to like zero, starting up. 2017. I'm back to I'm in the window and door business. I'm doing this, but I'm a sales rep now, so my ceiling is capped. I'm not a business owner. I'm just a salesman. I can make my 20K a month, maybe max, and that's it. They would limit you, and I don't like being limited. I hate when somebody puts a limit on me that you're worth this, right? So like you said the word curious and sniffing. So when I was in the window business, again, I used to pray to God, where's the next thing? God, when are you going to help me out to come out of this shackles, right? I was even telling her, and I was telling her, like, there was a reason why I left the window business. And some guy, this Jewish guy that I used to know, goes one day and he's like, yo, why don't these builders finish basements? And I'm like, yo, you got a point, They don't finish basements. Let's go. We go home, we start researching. And like, yo, there's no real basement company selling like a full solution, whatever. They were doing it, but not like the way we do it. So I said, let's start a basement company. We started a basement company from scratch, build it up where we were doing 30 basements a month. And then, we were millionaires again, and 2022 happened. 2022, the government decides interest rates are going to go up. And the government's like, too much overspending in the economy. And people are getting too rich, making too much money. Screw all of you. So Justin Trudeau raised the interest rates. First, they lowered them during COVID and then increased them in 2022. I knew that this was coming, by the way. So this time I was more humble. Let's say this. I never spent any of the money. I just kept it in the bank account. I never even touched it. By the way, the million was sitting in the bank. 1.5 was sitting untouched, tax-paid money, untouched. Didn't even touch a dollar from it. I was just paying my salaries and whatever, but no touching. Why? Because I knew a rainy day is coming. Because every 10 years, the economy heats up. For the audience, they should know that nothing lasts forever. There's always ups and downs in the economy. And you have to know how to go up when the cycle is up. For the audience that's watching, they have to understand that there's always ups and downs in businesses. The real question is when it's up, how much of that market you can capture to know that when it's time to go down, you have enough juice so you can lose, right? And I knew that now coming from the HVAC run, that, hey, bad times will come. So, like I said, I have a Jewish mentor. I always ask him advice whenever these things happen. He said, yo, don't spend any of your money. Live liquid, live in your rental.
Live like a Jew.
live humble. Like, live humble. No need to flex. Right?
Okay, sure.
By the way, I haven't bought any luxury thing or designer thing since I don't even know now.
What is flex?
Flex is buying Rolex watches. Flex is blinging out all the time, right? Like, just buying material things is flexing, let's say, right? I don't spend. Like, this shirt is probably 10 years old. I haven't bought this recently, right? This is a 10-year-old shirt that I have from Hugo Boss, right? This watch is probably 11, 12 years old. And all the stuff I have is old. Even my sales guys, just to give you a perspective, so my sales guys, veterans that have been in the HVAC with me, windows, and now in basements, they're working for me. So they would make $300,000 a year and then start blowing all their money. And I'm telling them, don't. Bad days are coming. It's like, oh, we just had our best year. I'm like, watch next year when the Fed's going to raise the interest rates. It's like, they're never going to do that. I'm like, bro, they are. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, I'm just telling you they are. And I never celebrated. My dad used to be like, why don't you celebrate? Why don't you buy a house? Why don't you buy a mortgage? And this, that, and the other. I'm like, Dad, interest rates are about to go up. People are going to be paying crazy mortgages, right? Which we see right now. And I'm like, I just want to be liquid because I know that when the bad day comes, you need that money to continue your business. And she knows I talk to her about this all the time too. Like in 2022, when the interest rates went up, my business was going down. Bro, people are quitting left, center, right. There's not enough revenue coming in. And I remember watching Dana White from UFC. And I learned from him. One of the smartest entrepreneurs. When COVID happened and there was no live events, he still kept all his staff. He paid everybody. And he said, I want to pay everybody because when things will come back, I'll have the staff, I'll have a shot at another day of business. But if I close today, let go of everybody after, retrain everybody from scratch. So I took that principle from Dana White and I paid my employees for free. So I'm paying my employees for like bullshit work. So me and my partner, we sit down in 2022, is like, you know that the economy is going to go down right now? How far are you willing to go? I'm like, I'm willing to go as far as the wheels come off. If it meaning if we go bankrupt, we go bankrupt. But at least we have a shot at another day. And I predicted that most people in our industry will quit, which they did. Because they can't see their money go away. Especially the Russians, they need their money. Russian people, they worship money, right? They worship money. They love their money.
Who doesn't?
They worship it. There's one thing to have money, and worshiping it is a whole different
Who
thing.
doesn't worship it?
I don't worship it.
Only white people doesn't worship it.
I don't worship money.
It's bullshit.
I don't worship money.
Come on, man.
I'm telling you, I don't worship money at all. I can prove that many times. I don't give a shit about money like that. So these Russians were like, oh, I'm losing money. So they all shut down their stores, right? And I predicted, I'm like, it's going to be like 2-3 guys left. One of them that's our competitor is a Russian guy, Ukrainian guy. But he had it in him. I could tell by his eyes. You know when you see the eyes of somebody, you know that he's going to stay around too, and we stuck around. So we paid all our employees for 2 years, and we lost. The way I lost $1 million is that's $1 million of the money that was sitting that went to pay payroll for 2 years, right? Of not being able to get that much revenue and paying. So you're losing, let's say every payroll you're losing 30 grand. 30 grand times a couple payrolls in a year and 2 years, you lost your 1 million. So that was 1.5 million of profits that we had put aside that was going to be my money and my partner's money at some point. We were growing that. We were just putting it aside, not touching it. But it came handy for a rainy day because we don't work on banks. We don't take any loans. We work everything halal. It's all our cash. We don't take any loans from anybody. And I used to pray to God, I don't want to be in the condition that I have to take a loan. I was really scared when this stuff was happening. And thank God, like we didn't have to. And now business is back up, slowly climbing back up. And the reason it's back up is because even though it's not up, but there's always a market for something.
It's a blue ocean.
There's lesser players, yeah. So it's not a red ocean anymore. There's not that many sharks anymore. So we have more opportunity. So there's 2 lessons there, right? Like one is when you had the green opportunity, okay, good. But then you have to save for a rainy day, right? You have to save to make sure that when bad times come, you're able to still swim, right? And now a lot of those guys that quit, they're jealous or they get mad, like, oh, you guys are still in this. I'm like, you could have done it too. Be willing to lose your money. Some of them are mechanics now. Some of them
And that's how you lost your $2 million.
Correct. It went to payroll.
Okay.
It went to payroll unnecessary, but I have all my employees. And had I not have employees, I would have shut down too. So you had a shot to live at another day. Because I love my business, by the way. It's my business. It's completely mine. I'm 100% owner of it. Even though I have a partner, but he's not on the ownership. We just have an agreement, and that's how we work.
Profit sharing.
Yeah, profit sharing fully, but he doesn't want to put his name on anything. He's a very interesting guy. My partner. He always likes to call himself the king maker, not the king. So he has 12 partners like me in different businesses where he has no name on any corporation. He just takes his cut, and that's it. But he fulfills. He's a master behind fulfilling things. Very smart guy. I learned a lot from him. Crazy thing about the story is he used to be my lawyer from my car accident 13, 14 years ago, prior to us being partners. And I met him like that. So imagine I met him 13 years ago. He was my lawyer. He liked me a lot, became my friend, talked to me always. Every birthday he would call me. And then in 2018, we started business together.
What's his role in this business?
So my role is sales and marketing. I'm the sales and marketing guy. So I take care of all the Google ads, the Facebook ads, dealing with my marketing teams, fulfilling the leads, calling the leads, booking the appointments for my sales guys and myself, and closing. And his job is to fulfill the job. So his job is building the basement, framing, electrical. He's the guy that fulfills. He doesn't do it himself, but he manages all the tradespeople. He manages the employees.
PM.
Yeah. So it's a very good marriage between me and him. Okay. We love each other. We fight a lot too. There's literally times where we literally beat the fuck out of each other. Crazy part is he has a medal in his arm because he had a bike accident. One time he hit me, and all you hear is a ding. I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? In the middle of it, we start laughing. He's like, bro, you don't know I have metal all over me? And then he has like, I have one in my kick too. Let's kick you. I'm like, yo, bro, let's just chill. So when you hit me with his elbow, you hear a ding, right? I'm like, yo, what? So traveling with him at the airports is crazy. You go at the airports, metal detector, all metal detectors are going off. Security comes right after, like, what's going on in you? Like, bro, chill. Like, I got metal all over me. He's got a metal. He still drives crazy bikes though. He's a bikeist. Like he goes crazy. He has a BMW RR. So he's got and super modded. Like one of the fastest bikes in Canada is his bike.
What do you think helped your business to be here today more? Is it the sales and marketing part or the FIFO?
Maybe, can I say it like unorthodox? Like you have to be politically correct, or I can say everything?
Say it the way how it is.
I think in business to sustain long terms, personally, I think it's about having big balls. Big balls to go until your wheels fall off. Big balls of not being afraid of anything. What's the worst that can happen?
We want to say it in a way someone starting a business can understand it. I understand what you mean by having big balls and always fight, but also like what is something like an element in the business that will always help the business survive? That's my question to you.
It's a combination. Obviously, sales and marketing is the acquisition, but also your reputation won't exist if you can't fulfill. So it's a yin and yang, right? Like there's a lot of companies that start in our business that are great salespeople, but then they can't fulfill shit. Right? They don't have a good back-end partner to fulfill the job. And then they get hit by bad Google reviews, bad Homestar reviews, bad reviews and then they shut down, right? So it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of having great employees. I think we have very, very good employees that have been with us, loyal to us. They get offered to go to other companies, but they also stuck around because they saw, like my employees now are not going to go anywhere. Why? Because they saw for 2 years, we paid them money that they didn't really deserve. But we took care of them for 2 years when they saw all their friends at other companies get laid off, right? And have no work.
You built a community, not a team.
Yeah. And I swear to God, maybe if I didn't watch Dana White, I wouldn't have done that. I was just like I always watch like random YouTube videos, even though I'm not a UFC guy. I love watching Dana White. And I came across this video during COVID. He's like, yeah, I don't care if I have to pay my own salary. I'll make sure all my employees stay here.
What is a skill that you think every person who's looking into starting a business should develop before even starting this business? Is there like one skill or you have to learn everything?
Depends on what type of business, depends on how big you want to go, right? Like I always tell my dad, I say it like this. Unfortunately, sometimes people look at us business owners like we're greedy. They look at us like we're some greedy people. But they don't look at the other side of how many employees we are feeding, how many families operate because of our work. And unfortunately, I'll say this, I tell my dad the same thing all day long. I'm like, because when I come from a very employee household, my dad's family is an employee household. My mom's side is business. But you live in your father's home. So they're very employee minded. Whenever they saw somebody get rich, they would always doubt him. He probably did something shady. They never acknowledged somebody for being successful.
Typical brown family.
Typical brown family. There you go. Typical Pakistani brown family. Even though I love my dad. My dad
in general.
My dad was a great hard worker, but he always had this thing about like back in Pakistan when I used to live there for 6 years, we used to drive in this rich area called Defense. They have like massive homes there. He's like, oh, this is probably some corrupt guy. I'm like, Dad, how do you know? You don't know who lives here. He'd be like, you don't know. I'm telling you. Money's not made like this. Normal people can't live like this. I'm like, okay. But his mindset was that because he was an employee, they gave him a Honda Civic, they gave him 2 drivers, and they said, this is life is good, you have benefits. And then when he finished, he retired, they let him off. And I didn't want to be that. But I think in business, it's not greed, but business itself as a phenomena requires you to constantly work and feed it. It's like a baby that's always hungry. And I think that because we're always hustling and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it, people look at us like we're some greedy people, but they don't understand if we don't, it's gone. It's gone. So, like, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything for your business.
So there's no like one specific skill that you think they should look at, focus on, or they should learn everything?
No, because I'll give you an example. Back home in my country, or your country as well, the average bakery that sells bread, it's been running for 40 years, but it's one location. You call that a business? It's a business by definition, but he has the same amount of revenue every month, the same clients, the same customers, and he dies there and then nothing takes over.
What's the definition of a business?
I don't know, but I'm asking you. Do you get what I'm saying? it's like
I'm
what
asking
level?
you, what's the
No, but I'm
definition of
saying
a
what level of
business?
business are we talking about then, right? Because I think you have to also talk that
No, there's a
there's
definition
small
for a
business,
business.
there's high business, there's big business, there's
Definition of a business.
I mean, definition of business is simply exchanging services or goods for dollars, right? That's the most layman definition, right? But my dad, for example, the Brown families, they would have respect for the bakery man who never grew, who never expanded, but they're like, what an honest businessman. He sold bread for 30 years in the neighborhood. I'm like, that's not honesty. That's injustice. He could have grown, helped more people, helped more employees, had 5 locations, but he didn't choose to. He chose to be comfortable, wake up at 9 a.m. and make bread and sell it to you. And then he dies because there's many of them that died. They're not even alive anymore. And then the bakery shuts. But then the guy who's the entrepreneur who has 50 bakeries now, they call him the gangster. Oh, he probably did something shady. No, he had 50 bakeries, bro. Oh, he probably was slipping drugs through the bakeries. They put these things,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So when I used to see that as a kid, I hated that. Because I'm like, yo, some guy who thought bigger, who worked harder, who probably went through a couple divorces, this, that, went through so much shit, and he helped so many people. He gets this on his name when he finally builds his home. He gets, oh, he slipped drugs through his bakeries, or he was doing some import-export business on the side, or some illegal arms. Because back home in our countries, it's either illegal arms or import-export. Whenever they want to put somebody under corruption charge, that's what they do, right? So I don't know. I'm just figuring it out, but I want the audience to understand where I'm coming from. Like, if you're just a guy working in your bakery, and there's nothing wrong with that, but don't envy the guy who did a little bit more than you, who woke up earlier and thought bigger and opened more locations, to lose to him and say, oh, like he did something wrong. No, he helped way more people. He had a bigger impact, and he probably donates more money, and he probably gives more in taxes, and he probably helps the economy in a bigger way, but no one sees that picture. Do you get what I'm saying? So I wanted to be the other guy. I always want to be the other guy. Like right now, we're looking at expanding our basement business. We're potentially looking at partners in the basement business, maybe to launch in Quebec and Alberta and all these things. We're looking for good people. We don't have them yet. But that's our goal, to go Canada-wide with the basement business.
What
too.
kind of people are you looking for? Maybe someone's looking for a job.
We're looking for franchisees, owner-operators that can learn we have a very solid basement model. Unlike any other company, doesn't exist. The way we onboard a client, the way we fulfill a job, the way we use software. We've invested $2 million into software in our company. And we're looking for people to take that model and go Canada-wide with it. And the reason I want to do that again is because I did the same thing in the HVAC business, which was much more simpler. HVAC is like just a unit, goes inside. Basement is a 5-week job. And it hasn't been done yet in Canada. Hasn't been done yet.
What's the requirement for an owner operator?
Well, first of all, he's got to bring skin. I don't like to partner with anybody if they're not willing to bring skin in the game. So my thing is, the way my business philosophy works is, if you don't have skin in the game, you can leave at any time and there's no consequence to you. And I don't want to do that. Because if I'm going to invest my time and my money and my resources, flying to, let's say, Alberta back and forth or Quebec back and forth, and I'm going to teach you something and you could just steal that from me and go and you don't have any skin in the game, I have no protection.
So they need to buy a license fee?
Not that. It's more like they need to come up with the operating costs themselves. And it's not big costs if you're smart, right? Like I started this business with $4,000. So at our peak, we were doing 12 million in revenue, right? And we do about 7 million every year. But I started with $4,000. I had literally put 4,000 into Google Ads, got 1 basement, took the profits from that, invested back in Google Ads, got 3 basements, took the profits from that, got an office, took the profits from that, bought the first van, Metris, took the profits from that, bought the second van, and now we're 40 trucks on the road, right?
Skin in the game. What else?
Skin in the game, and they have to be very coachable, right? Coachability. This is a very hard business. It's not one thing they have to learn. They have to learn a lot of things. They have to learn how framing is done, electrical is done, plumbing is done. And they have to be willing to put their own time in, right? One thing I learned is, over training thousands of sales reps now, if a sales rep just comes to the sales training and doesn't spend his own time, he ain't learning shit, right? Like the basement business, the way I learned it was myself. I was selling windows, and at night till 6 hours, I would be watching videos. I would be watching videos of how does framing happen? How does electrical happen? What's the building code? What is a stud? I didn't even know what a stud was, bro. I know what 2x4 was. Not too long ago, like 8-9 years ago, I didn't know what a stud was. I didn't know what a copper wire is. I didn't know what a socket is. I didn't know what a plumbing stack is. But I learned myself because I wanted to be involved in this. To give you another example, I started this podcasting career. You were at my studio 8 months ago in October. If that's 8 months ago, maybe. Yeah, 8 months ago. I didn't know what mics was. I didn't know what wire was. I didn't know what editing is. I didn't know how to put this gimbal, but I self-taught myself this, watching hours of videos on YouTube all night. She doesn't even know about it. I would be up all night watching videos. She doesn't know. She thinks I'm sleeping. You're watching videos all night because I'm obsessed with this. I want to do this podcasting, right? I would be up all night watching videos and go to work the next day, message good morning as if I slept. I didn't sleep. I was watching videos. I was working. I was hustling, right? Because I have a vision. But that's what we do. That's what a real entrepreneur is, right? An entrepreneur isn't some guy that just gets something handed. For years, I was always like, I'm curious about this camera stuff. Like all that stuff that you saw was self-taught. I didn't do it myself. I didn't get any help from anybody like that. I'll just go on YouTube, watch a bunch. And in YouTube is kind of messed up too because there's so many videos you have to decipher through. Because one guy will say this camera is good. The other guy will say this camera is shit. But you have to then do more due diligence. So then the third guy will say, but Newer is garbage, but Lumix is better. But Sony is better than Canon. I think I watched 200 videos about which camera is better, Sony or Canon. I think I watched about 200 videos.
Yeah, too much studying equal not studying.
But I did it.
If you study too much, it's going to confuse you even more.
I was just like, you know what? I'm doing this thing, and I really want to take it to another level, and I did. And I bought Sony cameras at the end. And then all my friends that are in there, they have Canons, and they talk shit about Sony. So I didn't care, but Sony did the work.
How do people reach out to you if they want to be in on this opportunity? And why should they do it with you and not do it on their own?
I mean, they could do it on their own too. It's a learning curve. They're gonna burn millions of dollars learning.
Okay, so they save money
Big
doing
time.
it with you, and they save time.
Well, you have staff. Training is a big cost. What would you say, like the staff that you have training wise? How much?
I don't train anymore.
Yeah,
In this business.
Yeah.
This business. I don't hire.
But
to
you know
train.
how much it costs to train
Oh,
somebody.
but that's why I don't train anymore.
Yeah, your brother runs franchises for juice dudes and this stuff.
Yeah, we do that for this. We do training and all this stuff because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But for I have a couple businesses, and these are the businesses that I enjoy dealing with the most.
Yeah.
I don't train. If I bring you to the team and I have to train you, that means why would I have to pay you? Yeah. But I see your point. Like in your business and other businesses, you do need to train. It's fucking expensive, and that's literally what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you that it's very expensive to train.
In construction, it probably takes us, I would say, 40 guys or 40 girls, whether it's for designers, to find one good person. So we probably let go of 40 people to find one full-time employee. So if you have 60,
I believe you.
do the math, 60 times 40.
I believe you. So you teach all this stuff, all these systems, you give it away to the owners, operators, and potential partners
Correct.
in the future.
Yeah, and
like
we're looking for a nominal fee. Like if we were to ever partner with somebody, it'll be like very nominal, just a franchise fee. Like it's your business, but you're saving millions of dollars that could go into investing in the business and grow.
You mentioned so much about learning and how you learned all this stuff. And you mentioned also that you had a mentor. Did you ever hire coaches? Do you have a coach right now?
Yeah. That's very important, man. Like in life, wisdom will always save you time, right? Wisdom will save you time, money, and energy. And I believe that. And I mean, people that don't have money, they can just hang out with older people, right? Like when I had no money, when I was 18, my friends were 40-year-old Russian men, right? I was around them and I'm like, yo, teach me life. And they would sit and talk to me. Certain things they said were not true because they always wanted to act young. They're like, we're still young, bro. I'm like, you're not young, bro. You're 40 years old.
What kind of coaching did you get? Did you receive like from the people that you paid them to be actually your coaches?
Well, I went to a lot of seminars. I've been to Jordan Belfort seminars. I used to pay Grant Cardone seminars. I used to go to all these things back in the day.
Do you currently have a coach?
I do, but local. I'm not allowed
What
to
do
go
they
to the
teach
States
you?
right now. I'm not allowed to fly in the States right now, so I can't go.
I'll ask you about that. But what did you? What is the coach teaching you right now? What's the specific thing that you're trying to learn from this coach?
Well, accountability is huge, right?
Okay.
I have an accountability coach in the industry.
Okay.
I'm always learning sales and marketing with different guys that come out. I always test guys out. Some guys I like, some guys I don't like. Some guys are a bunch of fluff. Like I don't want to say anybody's names, but some guys that are out there right now, they pop on Instagram and stuff. But if you look at their material, it's just another course repackaged in a different way. I think that you have to resonate with somebody and their story to like take them seriously and then take them all for what they're worth. Grant Cardone was big for me, to be honest with you. I know people will talk differently. I've been watching Grant Cardone since 2009, 10 when he wrote the book 10x Rule, and he's a huge mentor of mine too. I've been to many of his seminars. I've done many of his programs as well. I've done many of his private events. I would say one of my favorite coaches right now, and I think for a lot of guys that can help them a lot, is Patrick Bet-David. If you go to his conferences in Miami every year, they're amazing. I was
I
there.
think he had a recent one in Montreal recently.
No, he does it in Miami always. He does it at the hotel.
No,
there.
he's coming to Montreal, or he already came
Yeah?
recently.
I
Yeah,
didn't
this
know
is
that.
happening soon.
Yeah. But Patrick Bet-David is probably one of the best guys right now with current events. I think that he's the most realist in terms of current information for what you need as a man and as a person to become that dynamic salesperson. He's done very well for himself in terms of selling his insurance company, and he's built a media platform. So he's the best of both worlds, media and business combined together. And a lot of guys came from him. Like, you know that guy, what's his name? Andy Elliott?
Yes.
He's his student, by the way. He's Patrick Bet-David's student. He was in the same masterclass as me 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. He was sitting just like that, and now he's this big Andy Elliott guy all
Good
over.
for him. He's doing really good. I
Very
like what
well.
he's doing.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
what he's doing. He's very authentic.
Very
I like
authentic.
authenticity.
But I remember he was just a regular guy.
You're
with-
very authentic too. When I watch your social media, like if you agree or disagree with what you're saying, you're a very authentic man. You say
Appreciate
what's
it.
on your heart. And is that why you can't go to the US? Let's talk about some fun stuff now. So you
Oh,
said
right.
you're banned. Why?
Well, right now I'm a criminal in the domestic system here. I'm still waiting on one charge.
Here or in the
In
US?
the U.S., in Canada, but they don't let you go to the U.S. if you have
Okay. So it's not the US who banned you. Canada banned you from traveling.
Canada doesn't ban you, but the way you have it, the moment you have a criminal record, the U.S. doesn't want that. It could be a petty domestic, could be anything.
I see.
It's a hit or miss.
Interesting.
Some people they capture if they run the scan on you. Some people they don't. I still have an access card which works, but I know some people that had a petty charge like this and without a whatchamacallit, you have to get a pardon. But I'm still in court. So
What's the charge?
criminal harassment.
Who did you harass?
I didn't harass anybody.
What happened?
I'm still in court, so I don't want to talk about it. Right? I will say it's a
Okay.
charge.
Makes
But
sense.
I'm waiting for the court date to end, and I can talk about it.
Deal.
There'll be a whole episode coming about all this stuff. I'm just waiting for that.
Cool. But you're innocent.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope you get your fair charges. You get this resolved because
Yeah. Look,
you don't want to have a criminal record as a young person or as any person.
the way it works in Canada or in America too, it's like it's not you're innocent until proven guilty. What it's supposed to be in domestics, it's guilty until proven innocent.
It's guilty
So,
until you have enough money to prove yourself.
There you go.
Till you have enough money to.
But I've
afford
learned
lawyers.
so much even in that. Like I've helped a lot of other men now not make those mistakes that can get them like this, right? Like it's the pattern, and in every business there's patterns. In everything in life there's patterns, right? Let's agree on that, right? There's patterns to what happens. There's patterns to women behavior. There's patterns to men's behavior. There's patterns to courts behaviors. There's patterns in everything. And once you learn those patterns, you know how to navigate that. So part of the thing that this whole podcast that we do and we talk about, and the guys that I speak to on a daily basis in my program, is to let them know of those patterns, whether it's their mistakes that they're going to make or their ex-partner is going to make, so that they're aware of that and then they don't end up in the system. Because emotions can sometimes get the best of you and screw you up.
What is the message you want to give to young men out there?
Tons of messages, right? There's tons of messages out there that I give to a lot of men out there.
I would be happy to sit down and listen to all of them,
Yeah.
but I'm sure we have other plans. Give me one message to the audience, young men, that you just wish they can hear it right now.
It'll be the same message that my father gave me, and I'll tell you the most important message. My father said to me when he was kicking me out of the house at like 17, 18, when he's saying, hey, you're going to be on your own. Remember, son, 3 things he said. He said to me, don't drink, don't do drugs. And other than that, in your 20s, if you're doing anything other than work, just remember that you're wasting your time. You're going to do it, but just have the conscious thinking that let's say you go to a party or you went wasting time with some whatever bullshit people, not people like us that are talking something constructive, but let's say some people, they just
This
chill.
is work.
Yeah, but some people just chill for whatever and they just talk about nonsense.
So, by example, the people that travel too much.
No, but let's say some people like in their 20s, they're always just chilling with their boys and talking about nothing in a plaza or smoking cigarette. Bullshit.
Okay.
Nothing constructive. Remember, whenever you do something like that, or you go to a club or whatever bullshit, remember that you are wasting your time, and then you work harder the next day. So I didn't waste too much time, but whatever time I did waste, I would hear my dad talking to me. You're wasting time when you, the fuck you doing? Like I would be, let's say in whatever situation, like some dumb situation. When you're young, you make mistakes, 21, 22, watching some bullshit soccer game or something that's irrelevant right now, and you could be doing something more on your business or whatever. My dad's voice would come creeping down on me. And yeah, I just went back to work. In fact, I told Patrick but David the same thing when I was getting coached by him. He's like, what's something that your father told you? He asked a question, what's the best advice your father gave you from all the people in that room? And I gave the same thing and I tell this to any kid, any kid that I meet, I say the same thing. Listen, son, in your 20s, if you're doing anything other than work, just remember you're wasting your time. You're going to do it, but you have the conscientiousness about it. So that would be my best advice because it worked for me.
That is a good advice. That is a good advice. You want to enjoy life, but also you have to make sure you can afford that. Like that. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Toronto to Ottawa for this podcast. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I learned so much from you and about you, of course.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate this.
I appreciate, man. You came all the way here for the podcast. I really appreciate this. I hope people out there actually get interested in becoming owners, operators with your business, because obviously it's working for you, and I hope it will work for them. And you've given lots of advice. Our job is to show people's perspectives, and you decide if you want to try it or not, just like the YouTube story you told me. Some people like Ken and some people like Sonny. And keep on inspiring and keep on working hard, man. If you don't have any question, that's
yeah, no, we're gonna do lots of great things together, and I genuinely want to let the audience know, like, you have go get his book, The Power of Networking. Networking has got me in different places, and a lot of people are shy to network. They feel like networking is like, they have this limiting belief that people who are successful won't talk to them. In fact, they will talk to you. They will talk to you more than the average rookie will, because people that have gone through mistakes don't want other people to go and get those mistakes. I think genuinely that's my calling in anything I do, right? Even with the men stuff I do, the reason I don't want people, I want to save men from making those mistakes, because I know the cost of it. And I always give business advice even to my own competitors. I have competitors asking me for help, and I tell them everything, because I think that everybody, if we all get better together, it only helps all of us.
Yeah, I don't believe in business competition. To be honest, personally, I don't believe in business competition. We can still call it competition, but I think it's a collaboration. It's not a
100%,
competition.
100%.
Because you, as my competition, you're doing mistakes, and I'm watching you. I'm learning from your mistakes.
100%.
Right? If I don't have a competition, how would I know what's right, what's wrong? How can I grow? They hold you accountable. You're like, I don't want to fuck up with this customer because I have my competition waiting on the other end to grab it. So I like this, and I appreciate the good word. You get to ask me a question if you have one. If not,
so for your book, because last time when you were at my podcast, you never were able to tell us about your book. So people that my audience that's gonna watch, what's so special about your book? What have you put in the book, The Power of Networking, that is unique to your story, and what people can learn from your story in terms of networking and business and stuff?
I put my stories as is there, man. I didn't make it fancy, fancy English words. I'm not trying to show people that I'm the fancy author. It's not the best book that you've ever read in your life, but these are my actual stories that happened to me. And I listed numbers, like not to flex, but like if there's some events that I sat down and I reflected. I'm like, okay, I met this guy. He introduced me to this girl introduced me to this guy. I did the math. I'm like, holy fuck, I made $250,000 from this event. I'm like, when I was at the event, I wanted to leave every single minute. I didn't want to be there the first day. And then the second day I got warmed up. So I'm like, what if I chickened out? I wouldn't have made this money. I wouldn't have been able to use this money to make an impact on other people and family, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to put some of my stories in this book, and very straightforward, very short, very simple, straight to the point. I'm not gonna just drag you into 300 pages book. And, in a hope to motivate you to actually get out there, still keep your authenticity, do networking. The book doesn't teach you how to secret formula for networking. No, it teaches you how to keep your authenticity and keep your personality while at networking, and how you can actually connect with people by being yourself. I'm not teaching you how to become like me. I'm teaching you how to become the best version of yourself at a networking event.
And there's an audiobook in there too, or you just,
The audiobook is getting approved right now. I think we're 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away for Audible. But yeah, it's on Amazon right now.
nice
I'll give you a copy before you leave.
for sure, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna recommend it to my people too,
Thank
because networking is huge, man. Networking, like, it's all about who you know.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go with people.
100%.
And to be able to pick the right people, you need to meet the volume. It's a volume
100%.
game. And to meet a volume, you need to attend to networking events. I'm moving to Toronto. I have a challenge for myself right now. I've been in Ottawa for 5-6 years.
Yeah,
I only started networking properly 3 years ago.
yeah,
And in those 3 years, I can't believe what I've done. And I don't regret things, but I'm like, if someone told me
Yeah.
network from first day I came to Canada, I would have been where I am right now 3 years ago.
yeah.
So I have a challenge for myself because I'm moving my whole life to Toronto.
Nice.
I want to see how fast can I grow a community like how I did in Ottawa. In
Much
Toronto.
faster out there. Much faster.
It's not because of Toronto. I'm going to commit personally to one networking event a week.
Nice.
And my job will be finding the right networking event, go to it, and see what I can do in 6 months. And I think I can do what I did here in 3 years and 6 months there. Not because it's Toronto and Ottawa. No, it's because now I know the formula. I know how it works. I travel to the US every couple months to do networking. And I know a bunch of people there. I travel to other countries. I'm going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in November. I'm
Nice.
speaking on a stage there.
Nice.
It's all because of fucking networking.
Yeah,
I
well,
met
there's
someone
a-
introduced me to PR agent. This PR agent was the best person that I met. Boom, boom, boom. So you want to get lucky, do networking. Because get lucky equal opportunity. You want to meet opportunities. You want to find them. You need to sniff around. Around equals be in more fucking rooms. So be in more rooms instead of sitting alone. Hang out with the same boys every night. Like don't hang out with the same boys every night. Just
100%.
hang out with new boys.
100%.
Learn from the new ones. Don't get so comfortable with this group. I go to networking events and I see sometimes like a group of people talking together like for 3 days. I go yell at them. If you know me, you know that I yell at people all the time. But I'm like, what the fuck you're doing? You spend money to be here. You're just talking to each other
Same
all
people
day.
that you know.
Go talk to someone new. And I wouldn't leave them alone until they go say hi to someone else. So try put a goal that you want to meet new friends every week. And there's lots of things to talk about in this book.
Yeah.
Lots of advice to give to, but like just put yourself in more rooms.
Yeah.
Read this book is gonna help you to actually be comfortable in the room.
When are you moving to Toronto? Do you know what day?
I need to find a commercial space first, and then I'll see when I'm moving. But like I'm aiming end of the fall, so
Nice.
like November. November will be full time. Now every month I'll be there,
Yeah.
but like my life is going like I'm gonna have my home will be there
Nice.
for a while. Not there, like I'm not there for too long. Like a year there, and then somewhere else is gonna be my home to expand more.
Good. Good for you, man.
Like the next 4 or 5 years
Hey.
is gonna be crazy.
May God be with you, and may you have
Thank
all the
you, bro.
success. And I'll be seeing you in Toronto too.
I appreciate it, bro.